Hello, and this time we're both going to do a video together, as it's our joint channel. But I'm kind of in charge of it, and or the running of it, and putting videos up, and I'm the techie, if you like. So it's Pauline 1952, as she'll be referred to when doing these videos.
Hello.
Is that okay?
Yes. I'm Mum as well.
Right, so the point of doing this, the point of today's video is just to discuss what it's like as a parent, really, and just to going back to the when we had the meetings at the school, really, just to ask the most obvious question would be to ask what kinds of discussions were taking place at the school.
Lots.
Around about the time when the diagnosis was made.
Yes, lots of talking, saying that you had epilepsy, but I would have known that one before you were the age of 5, I think. And when I used to take you to the outpatients clinic up at St Mary's Hospital, I think they would have picked that one up as well. So your psychologist, your child psychologist at the time, really misdiagnosed that one. Well, she didn't even look at your case notes before she came in the classroom.
The person in question, by the way, is Mrs. Smith.
Yeah, well, you don't say names, you just say the clinical psychologist.
I said Mrs. Smith.
I know, but you're not supposed to say names.
No, it doesn't matter now, because I've said it.
The child psychiatrist or clinical psychologist at the time got her facts very much wrong.
Yeah, and this caused uproar.
And yes, it did. Caused a lot of uproar. A lot of unpleasant words were said, which wasn't called for at the time.
I would say at this point that I was not present for any of these discussions.
No. Charles was either in his play school, which was next door, or he was at Watergate, Shive Nursery, which he loved to go to. But we felt at the time that where Charles was really, really small, that a bus journey all that way on his own, although there was an escort lady on the bus, we felt it was too long a journey for a little boy at the time. Was only he was about 3.5 to 4 years old, and we wanted to keep him really in his local school.
Local facility.
In the facility as well.
I'm just gonna so that was the discussions then. So I'm just gonna move things on slightly by asking you then when the diagnosis was finally made and it was official, what your thoughts were exactly. When it became official, what it was.
When it became official, it was a relief to know what we were actually dealing with. But they kept saying you were borderline and you wouldn't be at Watergate long, you were borderline, you would only be there about 6 months, but instead of that, you were there a number of years.
I'll say at this point that before the Watergate and the autism even came about, and I've not mentioned this yet in any of the videos, before all this Watergate and autism came about, the school I was with previous was St Margaret's, said basically they didn't give me a chance, did they? Because I was in reception for 2 years, and they were going to do it again, and then that's when Mum here intervened.
Yes, they wanted to keep you in with 4 or 5-year-olds, even though you were approaching the age of 8.
7, wasn't it?
No, you were approaching the age of 8.
Yeah.
You were already in with 4 and 5-year-olds.
Because they did this for 2 years, didn't they?
Yes.
How did you feel at the time?
Well, they wanted to keep you in with 4 and 5-year-olds as you were approaching 8, and they were on about as well that you might have to stay in with the primary section, the reception area, possibly even when you would be turning 9.
Right.
And we thought this was very much wrong. And of course, when you did leave down there,
I was jumping from reception to year 3.
but the only thing is, what got me not riled, I mean, we wrote to the education people and did all the official letters to say please can, because Charles was statemented, and please can he have his own helper to go up to different classes with him.
But of course,
but we were always told no, that all he could get, the only help that he could get was 15 minutes a day. So we thought when he reached the age of 8, it wasn't fair to keep him in with 4 and 5-year-olds.
no.
And we were also told that a child like that needs to be in his own special school.
Which is eventually what happened.
Which is eventually what happened.
And I moved to Watergate, and it's where
Charles found it really, really difficult to settle in, because then he was mixing with 8 and 9-year-olds, and he found this very difficult.
Because of the huge jump in the years.
So it took him a long time to settle, and he still, even to today, can't mix with his own age peers because he's never been given the chance to associate with them. He should have had this when he was younger, when he was first at school.
I mean, I'm starting to do it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the people I went to school with or I've made friends with are all grown up. So it was a difficult period, and so that's basically what it's like as a parent to deal with autism. I mean, what was it like at home initially after the diagnosis? I mean, we talked about what it was like at school, but what was it like at home?
The official diagnosis, and another diagnosis is your dad would not accept that you had autism. He didn't like the fact that you needed extra attention or extra care, but I don't usually talk about this because you and him got on really well.
We were very close.
You and your dad were very close.